Hello one and all, and welcome to Behind the Glass, your weekly automotive podcast hosted by two rather uninformed enthusiasts.
No.
I'm Sam from the YouTube channel Seen Through Glass.
I'm Tony from Gravelwood Car Sales.
And you can watch us each week. We hope you enjoy the episode. I might be wrong, but I feel like I'm going to have to educate. Feels like a punchy thing to say, but at least inform you as to all of the cars that have been revealed.
You will have to, 1,000,000% you have to inform me. Of course you do. Because I have a quick look, mate, and then I go, I don't like that, I'm not interested. And then I move on to another one.
Because I bet people are like, oh my God, I'm so glad that Sam and Tony are back because I get to hear their thoughts on all these cars. And I just know that you basically don't know any of the cars that we're going to discuss today.
Well, hold on a minute.
Well, okay, maybe you'll know that they've launched. Yeah. But how much have you looked into the details?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, hardly nothing. But I'll have an opinion and I'll upset
sure you will.
Well,
well, we're going to get into it in 2 seconds. But yes, here we are back in the studio. Tony's been on some lovely adventures, the Nürburgring and many holidays. Too many holidays, if you ask me. He's also been selling some cars, apparently. You were saying it's been a good month.
Been all right for August, yeah.
That's
so
wild.
August, predominantly in the motor trade, is like a ghost town, you know. But we've been all right, mate, to be fair.
Good on you. It's good.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. You cater for the masses.
Well, I do now. You try me best, you know.
Well, then on my side, of course, I had the second part of my US adventure in the Boxster, which it took me to Monterey Car Week, which is what we're going to discuss in a moment. And then I had a little family holiday in Bulgaria after that.
Nice.
But I actually want to go back to just before Monterey began, when I spent a few days in LA.
Yeah.
Because I still believe that car culture, that car scene is unbeatable. I don't think we did it properly when you and I went.
Okay.
Because we were kind of on a mission. We were super busy every single day. We obviously did a live podcast event whilst we were there, but we were just like in and out.
We were, yeah.
So I had the chance to have a few casual days and go on a few drives, go up to some cars and coffee locations, meet a few locals.
Nice.
And mate, it's just always going on.
Yeah.
Like the bit that blows me away is that not just every Saturday and Sunday, but pretty much every day of the week, early in the morning, people are out and driving.
Wow.
Getting a coffee, having a drive, a little natter, and then cracking on with their day.
But LA is like a bit of an odd bubble part of the world, isn't it?
1,000,000%.
Like
strange place.
Like not, I don't think strange. I really loved it when we went out, and I know you really like LA as well. But you live in a bit of a bubble there, mate. I don't think that's almost like it's not the real world.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it is sort of, it's dreamy in many ways, but also has a lot of its own problems. I got caught up in a couple of Donald Trump, what do you call them? Like rallies, I guess. I don't know what was going on, but it felt a bit edgy.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that going on. So anyway, long story short, I had a wonderful time, and I just want to once again champion Californian car culture. And the reason I do that is if you are ever going to LA or California, I think specifically LA, on holiday, and you think I want to tap into this car culture that everyone keeps talking about, rent a car, doesn't matter what. I suggest go on Turo and find something a little bit interesting. And just drive out to Malibu and park up somewhere nice and safe. And trust me, you'll see a ton of cars. And at some point, just follow some of them.
Yeah.
You end up at a coffee shop and everyone talks to you.
Yeah.
You know, unlike so many other countries where it's like,
who's he?
Why are you following us?
Yeah.
What is this pile of poo you have turned up in?
Yeah.
They'll go, oh, hey, man. Like, you know, let's chat. So, yeah, I highly recommend. But obviously, yes, I then got up to Monterey for the world famous car week. And it was mayhem.
How far's that from LA?
Well, there's many ways you can go. I think the most direct route, 4 and a bit hours on a very dull interstate or highway.
So is that east or
north? Directly north.
Oh, north.
So the best way to do it is along the Pacific Coast Highway, which literally is this amazing road.
We done that, didn't we?
We did a little tiny section of it.
Goes round, right?
Well, it just follows the coast.
Yeah.
So we did Angeles Crest. Is that what you're thinking of? Yeah. Pacific Coast Highway, we definitely drove on. It's a big road that goes all the way up the coast. And that would be about 6 hours or so. But because they suffer from a lot of landslides, It's closed at the moment, so you can't go the whole way up.
Oh.
There's certain sections you can do, but you can't drive the whole way from LA to Monterey. But yeah, I mean, it's an easy enough drive. A lot of people do that drive up for Car Week. A lot of people will do the drive from LA up or down from San Francisco.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, firstly, that Boxster has continued to be amazing.
Did it break?
No, so I had a puncture.
Right.
Look, you're going to be proud of me, right?
Well,
Hold on a sec.
hold on a minute.
I changed a battery in that car.
On your own?
Yeah. Self-diagnosed an alternator issue. I mean, not hard to do, but still. Come
Not
on.
really. If you change the battery and it's still wrong.
But you know me. You know me well
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
These are big milestones in my
Did you
automotive...
change the alternator?
No, I didn't change the
You
alternator.
got the garage to do
Yeah.
it? Okay.
They ripped me off as well.
Yeah.
You know how much it cost?
Do you want to guess?
Yeah, guess. Alternator change, refreshing. So new wiring looms new belts went on. And there was a faulty knock sensor.
$1,000. More.
$2,500.
No, it wasn't, mate.
They saw me coming though. I mean, two things happened. I called like 5 or 6 different shops. These were the only guys that could get me in straight away and wanted to try and get the work done that day. It ended up running overnight, but anyway. So they knew that I was under the cosh. And also, actually, when we boiled down to it, it was labour because the parts were comparative to UK.
Yeah.
A little bit more expensive, but not massively. And I was checking all of this with Visac UK, who looked after my 996. It was the labour was insane. And when I spoke to a few people, they just said, yes, European or import labour charges are just wild. Like garages, mechanics out in the US take advantage of the fact that these are not homemade cars and just do charge very high labour rates. So I reckon it probably should have cost $1,000 less, maybe $1,500, $1,700, but it's not that outrageous. And they were a very good shop. So I don't know. I mean, I had to stomach it.
Shop. That's a garage.
It's a shop.
A shop.
I took it to the shop. But anyway, whilst I was at Car Week, I was hanging out with my lunatic friend, Philip.
Yeah.
You've met a number of times.
Yeah.
And we were doing a load of driving with his Tuthill 911K. Do you know what that is? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And some of his friends, and we did various drives. And the day that I was leaving, I left on the Sunday morning before the Pebble Beach car show, which is the Concorde d'Elegance, which for me, I'm just like, snore. So I said, look, I've got to leave. My flight is at 7 p.m, so I can't be late. I've got to leave. And he said, come for one last drive. We're basically going the same direction that you'll go to the highway. We're taking back roads. And I was like, dude, I don't really want to. You guys all drive really fast. I'm going to have to push that car really hard to keep up. Yeah. Which, by the way, I kept up fine. But
of course you did.
I had to push, I was like, I just don't want to take any risk. I just want to slowly poodle back down to LA, drop the car off with Matt at Westside Collector Car Storage and fly home. Anyway, he's very persuasive. So I went on the drive, had a blast. And then I'm cruising along the interstate on the way back down to LA. Suddenly, back end flopping everywhere. Tire, basically delamination.
Wow.
It just fell off the rim.
Wow.
Like literally. So I pull over to the side now. There was a tiny part of me that thought, shit. But I was like, no, keep it together. We're good. I'm a car guy. This can't be that bad.
Oh, God. That's absolutely no mechanical experience at all.
I knew that there's a spare tyre in the front of the car because every time I'd opened the boot, there it was. So I was
Space saver thing.
Space saver.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got a space saver. Like, how bad can this be? I was like, I don't know whether the jack is, but we'll figure this out. So into the boot I go, start taking everything out. I unscrew the space saver as I pull it away. Classic Porsche engineering. The jack is hidden in the hub of the space saver. Brilliant.
Perfect.
There we go. Done. So I start immediately jacking the car, but then I go, oh no, wait, I remember. You're supposed to undo the bolts before you jack it.
Correct.
So I lower it back down. Meanwhile, all the traffic's going, meow, meow.
That is terrifying, by the way. Anyone else that's tried to change a wheel on a motorway, it is genuinely terrifying.
And US highways, I think the speed limit's supposed to be like 65. Everyone does 90.
Yeah.
Everyone does 90. And because I was so sketched out by it, I'd come off the edge, off the verge of the slow lane. So I was actually in the dirt a bit, which obviously meant that the jack was trying to go into the dirt and slipping around.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Bit of a disaster. But anyway, I'd remembered my brief knowledge of owning a car. Yeah. Loaded it, undid the bolts. I was all right. I was impressed with my strength. Got them done. jacked it all the way up, took the wheel off. My God, that was heavy.
It would have been heavy, yeah.
And hot, like burning hot, because it was about 34, 35 degrees.
Yeah.
So chucked that into the wheel.
You didn't touch the brakes disc, did you know what I mean?
Probably. And then I thought, oh God, I'm going to start a wildfire because I've just sent off this burning tyre into this. Anyway, that didn't happen, so thank God. Space Saver, screwing it all on. So this all works out fine. But then I noticed on the Space Saver, it says inflate to 60 PSI and maximum 50 miles an hour.
Yes.
And I was 2 hours away from LA.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that's a bit of a bore. I thought, but it's doable.
Yeah.
As I lower the car, it's basically going flat. So I'm thinking, oh, there's no freaking air.
Oh, you're joking.
I look at the wheel, the tyre. It's manufactured 2001. So I'm like, well, that's gonna be interesting. It's the original Space Saver, never been used.
Oh my God.
So I trundle down the road, find the first gas station. Look at me, all American. Pump it with 60 PSI. It does seem to hold 60 PSI. And I just pooted 50 miles an hour all the way back to LA.
Got it back.
Got it back. Happy days.
Well done, Bob.
Matt Farrow's already stuck 2 new tires on it.
Has he?
What a ledge. Yeah.
Lovely.
Anyway, that wasn't the story I was supposed to be telling.
That was a lovely story, though. Well done.
I'm so glad. The story I was supposed to be telling was all of the new cars that I ended up seeing at Car Week, because there's tons that we've got to go through, and I think tons that you won't know about. Before we do that, though, a little stock watch, because yes, my experience in the Boxster has been so fantastic, and of course I've been looking at some UK examples to see whether I could continue my life post my US adventure. I just want to point out 2 cars that have come up. Do you remember these? This is the RS60 edition.
I do, yeah.
This is actually the 987 rather than the 986. These are, look at that, 28 grand, mate.
It's a lot of money, isn't it?
It's a lot of money. I couldn't believe it. So these have become low-key collector items. I mean, cool cars, but I think at that money, mate, don't you think it's a bit pointless?
Yes.
Like, that's just, go and get something better. I love them.
Like a newer one.
Like a newer one.
Yeah.
Like, that just blew me away that they're...
You get a 981 for that money.
You could easily get a 981. Yeah. But...
Good one.
Is that a safe place to put money? Like, I don't know.
A 981 will be now.
Do you think that? But
it's 10 years old.
This is a limited car.
Really?
Yeah, it's a limited car.
Good.
1,960 ever made.
Right. It's only 28 grand. It's really popular.
Was that
Come
PDK?
on, mate, please.
It's Tiptronic. What?
Well, yeah, it will be.
That's a disaster, isn't it?
Yeah. PDK didn't come out till 981, did it?
Of course. Wow.
Just get a 981, guys.
Yeah, so skip past that.
Yeah.
But here we go.
That's better.
Absolute beaut.
That's expensive, though, as well.
2000, so a few years older than the car I ended up with. £14,000, so more expensive than the car that I just bought. But similar mileage, 43,000 miles. But super nice. Red, glorious wheels. I mean, I think it is a really nice car. And based on my experience, bang on.
But you get one with a bit of miles.
Absolutely.
For 6 or 7.
And I don't knock mileage. I think more miles the better with any car, really, if it's been used and looked after and maintained well.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to find a comparative to my car and the experience I've just had.
Fair. And your car translated was a lot more money than that as well, weren't it?
No, it's less. Oh. My car was £13,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is a near on exact example, but I would say that this is a tiny bit overpriced, but a really nice car.
Okay.
So that's why I say Monarch car sales.
Well done.
Try and kick them in the balls.
Don't be like that.
So I know a guy bought one in America for 13.
Yeah.
On the dot.
Okay.
Anyway, let's get into it because there are so many new cars to discuss. I think we got to kickstart with the Lamborghini, and I'm going to have to look at the screen. Temerario.
I'm so glad you didn't make me pronounce that because I would have just said Tem.
What is with, I mean, Ferrari, bad enough with the Dolce Cilindri.
No idea.
But the Vuelto, which I heard 1,000 pronunciations of whilst I was in America. And now the Temerario, which during the Quail, which for me is the event to go to during Car Week, everyone is called the new Lambo.
Did they?
I did not hear one person say, have you seen the Temerario?
Yeah.
Or the Temerario.
Yeah. That'll end up being called the baby Lambo or something like that.
It's a punchy one. I mean, when the Aventador launched, what did people, because I wasn't quite in the scene.
Aventador.
People, that was chill, right?
Yeah, just Aventador. I mean, it's not that hard. Even I can say Aventador. I can't say that, mate.
No, Temerario.
Yeah.
it means something like reckless or something. It means something
Does
like,
it?
yeah, it's like, they always have cool meanings, but it's quite a punchy one.
Yeah, to say
Temerario.
like off the cuff and remember it.
How's your Temerario? It will catch on.
Yeah.
We'll all be soon talking about the Temerario.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because Rev Welto was a little bit
of a
like,
mouthful.
yeah. I mean, it still is, but at least we know how to say it.
Yeah, Revelwelto.
Yeah.
They had the first aftermarket exhausted Revuelto. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Actually,
It
sounded
makes
amazing.
complete sense.
Sounded amazing.
Did it?
Yeah, I actually am going to come out and say every single Revuelto needs an aftermarket exhaust. Transformed it, because I'll get this in early. I have found the Revuelto a little bit underwhelming in person.
Because it's a big shouty V12 that isn't really shouty.
Yeah. And just looks wise, like I saw quite a few of them out during Car Week and in LA in general. Aventador, right up until about 12 months ago, would still catch my attention.
Yeah.
Everywhere I went, whether SV, S, Roadster, SVJ, whatever it could be, I was like, oh, cool, Aventador.
Yeah.
Revueltos, there's something about them which is just a tad too soft, I think. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Has it had that same effect for you? Or?
Well, I think it's just a modern car, mate. And I think obviously what these manufacturers do now is that they make a car for everyone. So they have to sort of be a bit safe in design and safe of the way it is. You know, it's a bit like what Porsche done with the 911 all them years ago, you know? And they sort of made it's now a car for everyone. And the Aventador wasn't that.
Absolutely.
You know,
as
it
we
was,
know.
unless you're a Lambo guy, you don't really want one of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't driven it, so I will.
It'll be good, won't it?
It'll be amazing. I'm sure it'll be fantastic, but it just hasn't had that same impact.
Yeah.
Until the one with the custom exhaust, I was like,
Yeah, fair.
This new Temerario, the Huracan replacement, I think suffered from that same underwhelming sensation.
Was everyone like going mad for it? Or?
No.
Okay.
A lot of people were like,
Which is a shame for Lambo because that's normally a big attraction. That everyone does go mad for them.
I think people were going on the looks, but everyone was very excited by the stats.
Yeah.
So, to recap, this is the Huracan replacement, which is a 907 horsepower hybrid V8.
Too fast.
I mean, the thing is, I think this has just killed the Revuelto. We don't quite know pricing yet, but what is the...
We said this.
Well, I think we already mentioned this, but Revuelto spec is nearly 500,000.
No, more.
More. Spec Revuelto is more than 500,000.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
You can get them to 600.
They're saying that these are going to be late 2s, if not early 3s.
I'd really like you to relay what we said about this car a couple of months ago, because we had a little argument and I said there'll be about 300 and you disagreed with me. So
I kicked off saying it would be impossible, but I've now understood a little more
good
about what's going on. And Lambo's moves in this world. Because do you know it now means that Lambo's entire product range is electrified?
In some way.
Yep. Urus hybrid.
Wow.
Temerario hybrid. Revuelto hybrid.
Wow.
So they've actually been the first to move. We, about a year, 18 months ago, were applauding Lambo for basically putting their middle finger up to the future.
And they haven't at all.
And just sticking with very basic model lines and big, Larry engines. And actually, they have made that big push and that big move pretty quickly and pretty early in comparison to some of their rivals. I think they've done it in a clever way, because you still get this headline 10,000 RPM red line from the actual combustion engine. Weirdly, doesn't sound spectacular in the clips that they've released. Hard to gauge from, video clips.
Yeah.
I know that all too well.
I saw that video clip going around revving and I didn't think too much either, but you have to give it the benefit of the doubt until you hear it properly or drive it,
Absolutely. And it's going to be the sensation, I think, of getting up there.
Yeah.
And the reward of getting up there, which will be hard to do on most roads, let's face it.
Well, you'd be going way over the speed
907 horsepower at 10,000 RPM in second gear. It's going to be surely 130 miles an hour.
Yeah, you're going too fast. Yeah.
So good luck. But anyway.
Like a motorbike engine.
Yeah, literally. I actually love the looks.
Okay.
It gives me major Gallardo vibes, which I always preferred Gallardo to Huracan. I think it's angular. I think it's aggressive. I think it's a relatively small package given the world that we live in now with every single car getting bigger. I think it looks compact. Interior looks pretty nice. It's got that same new kind of Revuelto style interior.
Yeah.
Lots of tech. I mean, I'm all for this at the moment. I do think it's very cool. I do think it's way too much power and performance. 3 electric motors, I believe. There's a lot going on. What's the actual driving experience going to be like? I don't know. I worry that it might be like so many cars, a bit too computer-ish. But I don't know, dude. I'm keen for this. I'm excited for this.
I would be more inclined to have one of them over a Revuelto.
Yeah, same.
For sure.
I think it would be more darty, more pointy for us.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll obviously do 1,000 variations, so there'll be a racier, trackier version coming.
Yeah. Yeah, there'll be a Performanti or STO type.
Yeah, that you would expect.
Yeah.
I can't imagine we'll ever be able to see a rear-wheel drive variant again. Because obviously the motors are plugged into the front wheels.
Yeah.
So I don't think they could do this as a rear-wheel drive.
Maybe, unless they changed the variant completely.
The non-hybridized. Because I guess the race car will be non-hybridized.
Yeah.
So I guess if you take the motors out and do a true STO that's a non-hybrid, that's a bit wild, isn't it? Anyway, I'm a fan of this. I am a fan of it. I'm never going to be able to afford it. I hope that I'll be able to drive it. But it's just a lot. 907 horsepower.
Yeah.
Why do we need all this power?
Well, we don't, do we? That's the problem.
Ferrari, the new EV's coming soon, the all-electric Ferrari.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I said, I think my personal dream would be that is when they reinvoke the Dino badge finally. And
make it electric.
Yes. Because then it's a different thing, right? Because who actually wants an electric Ferrari? No one, apart from the collectors out there who know they have to buy one to be able to get the new LaFerrari.
Yeah.
But if you made it actually a 500 or 600 horsepower, light as possible, little Dino EV thing, I think that would be a cooler concept. Like, I don't know, I just think it would be cooler.
It won't be that though, don't
No, of course. It's going to be £500,000.
Yeah.
And,
1,500 horsepower. And
you cannot have an electric Ferrari slower than an electric Porsche.
No.
So the Taycan, Visac, whatever.
Yeah.
The Rimac, Nevera, all of that stuff is what Ferrari going to be at that level, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to be the 2,000 horsepower insanity.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Lamborghini Temerario gets a big thumbs up from me. Tony, I feel like you're undecided.
Yeah, I want to have a go in one, really. I make way too many mistakes on this podcast of slagging something off and I'm not driven it, so I'll stop it now.
Well, talk about this then.
Full on slag this off already. I mean, what is this thing?
This is the Maserati MC20 GT2 Stradale.
Yeah, stupid.
So, I mean, I don't know if the MC20 has been successful for Maserati. I couldn't tell you.
Well, they don't probably know.
I don't. It's a really hard one to read. We didn't like the car that much.
Terrible.
Well, we initially liked it and then we went off it quite quickly.
Well, when we drove it, you mean?
Yeah, because don't forget at the start of that review, like, this car's amazing. And then halfway through, you suddenly realised that actually it's not.
Yeah, once I started driving it properly.
So this thing is the same old formula that we've seen across the board. It's the road-going race car. It's lighter, it's stiffer, it's all these things like that. Is it going to make it any more attractive? I'm not sure. I think people buying the MC20s bought it because it was pretty, could cruise around in it.
And it was.
And it still is. Very pretty car.
Yeah.
This, I'm like, I mean, someone will buy it, but...
Yeah, someone.
They are going after GT3 RS with that car.
I at least.
Yeah.
Maybe GT2 RS.
Lol.
GT3 RS probably, yeah.
I think almost certainly.
Good luck with that.
But I don't know.
Be more money than
that's going to be all the money.
GT3 RS.
It's going to be all.
That'll start with a free, that car, by the way.
Let's see if it's here. It's set to eclipse the MC20's 222 grand by as much as 100 grand. There you go. Well done, Tony.
Yeah.
Bang on the money for the first time ever.
No. Every time.
I don't know. I really like Maserati. I love that Gran Turismo. And I like the way this car looks. I just despise that engine.
Yeah.
And I just don't know who was seeking out a Stradale version, a GT2 Stradale version of the MC20. I don't know. but they launched it. Didn't get that much
Attention, didn't it?
Yeah, not a lot.
No.
There was a lot going on at the Quail specifically and at Car Week. That one fell a little flat, I would say.
Yeah, fair enough.
Other ones that fell flat. Well, firstly, Porsche's 50th Turbo 50th thing. Did you see that? It's basically the new exclusive. What was the old gold one called? Exclusive series?
Yeah.
911 Turbo exclusive.
Yeah, 911 Turbo exclusive, yeah.
Exclusive.
I was offered to buy one of them.
I remember.
Do you remember? And I said, no, it's just an expensive turbo. I wish I had bought one now.
Yeah, because they're worth still tons of money.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Well,
no one cared about that?
No, well, it's literally some decals.
All right.
I actually think that was a bit of a weak move by Porsche. To celebrate 50 years of the Turbo, and all you do is basically some decals. Like it's almost... You are
changed
almost...
the interior, didn't it? A little bit?
Barely.
Okay.
You're almost able to spec that car. The funny thing is it's available in 2 unique colours.
Right.
One of mine is Aventurine Green.
Nice.
Which was a standard colour up until about 12 months ago.
When everyone started ordering it and they thought, right, we're going to charge for that.
Porsche GB, their press turbo 911 hull is Aventurine Green.
Nice.
With all the trimmings that looks basically identical to the 50th special edition. Yeah. So it's a bit... I just think that car was...
That's 911T all over again. That is...
No, mate, it's not even 911T, dude. It's literally a turbo with some decals.
Yeah, so what it is, right, I'll tell you what it is we've got a load of 911 turbos that we can't sell. We're just going to change them a little bit and we're going to sell them for more money and we're going to call it a 50th anniversary.
I actually think it's... The 50 years of the turbo is coming up. Fairly monumental landmark in the development of Porsche and a car that probably does need to be signified, but it's falling at this really inopportune time where we're about to launch the 992.2 turbo.
Yeah.
So as you say, we've got to do a final run out. We'll shift them out the door.
Yeah.
What should we do? Oh, just stick a decal on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really feels half-assed. Anyway, I'm going to stop ranting about it, but that bored me. But they did do this new Sonderwunsch car, the 993 Speedster. And the reason I want to touch on this quickly, before we move on in a second, for me, the big takeaway from Monterey in comparison to Goodwood was all about electric cars this year. Monterey, all about Restomods.
Was it?
Dude, it was all about Restomods. Very different market, very different scene out there.
Yeah.
But boy, are they in tune and in love with the Restomod.
Are they?
And I think this Sonderwunsch program is Porsche's attempt to start pushing back and rivaling some of these Restomod companies.
Yeah. Well, we've seen that down the years, mate, with what manufacturers do. You know, like I said to you lots of times, you know, we've had it with stereo systems years and years ago, and then they all started putting decent stereo systems in. Then we had it with wraps, and they've gone, right, okay, well, the wrap business is through the roof. Everyone wants to wrap their cars. We're going to offer the paintwork now. And this is just... That's
black wheels.
Literally.
Yeah, you've spoken about it before, which is why I wanted to bring it up, because I think it's actually a genius move, and it's the move that you would expect, because especially as a collector or someone who's in this space, somebody was talking to me who's involved in this Restomod world. The reason why America's market is so big, and there's so much money there and so much success, that they go through the experience of buying all the Ferraris, getting the special Ferraris. They're like, great, I'm part of the club, but so are 200 other people. Yeah. So I'm going to go down the route of the Koenigseggs or the Paganis, where it's actually 10 or 20 people rather than hundreds.
Yeah.
Then they go, right, I've done the Pagani and Koenigsegg thing. I want to go down to a group of 1 or 2. So that's the Restomod or the bespoke. Once you've completed that, I think the next step, which does make sense, is then to go back to your manufacturer and do a 1-of-1 via the factory. Because imagine that guy who had that car on display, Porsche are showcasing his car. This is the 1-of-1 that we've made specifically for this customer, the only one that's ever going to be created. We've done it in-house from Porsche. This is a Porsche car. Boom.
Haven't Aston Martin and McLaren done that before?
Well, McLaren, yes, do it. Ferrari do it with their SP projects too. But I think where Porsche are doing it differently is it's rather than focusing on a new car, because McLaren often do it with new cars, they're doing classic cars.
Nice.
So the point or the idea is that you can go and knock on their door and say, hey, look, I've got
a lot of money.
A lot of money. And theoretically, Carrera GT.
Yeah.
And I want to create a Carrera GT LM that is hard top, fixed wing, lightweight, whatever. And theoretically, Porsche are going to go, okay, let's start. And
they'll build one that works.
I went and did the Classic A department with Ferrari. And I kind of asked them this question because they are solely focused on putting cars back to exactly how they left the factory. It's all about that originality. And you actually don't qualify for Classic A if a few things aren't period correct. But what if Ferrari allowed customers to reinterpret, recreate, improve on a historic model with all of their latest knowledge? So creating a Testarossa which had updated brakes or steering rack or whatever.
E12 underneath.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes or no. I mean, it depends. I mean, there's so many ways you can go about it, but I just think that is going to be what we're going to see across the board, is manufacturers starting to try and fight back in this resto mod world. And of course, Porsche had to do it because let's face it, every single resto mod that comes out seems to be around a Porsche these days. Yeah. It's a little bit dull. So they had to be the first to move. But I don't think the manufacturers are going to sit back and watch all these independents.
No.
Reworking their cars.
No, I agree, mate. But what it all come down to as well is money, how much money they can make. If they think, well, yeah, we can do it, and yeah, we can do it better than, these other resto companies, and they will be able to do it better because of the manufacturer. But actually, it's a cup of tea for us, money-wise. Let them carry on. That's fine. If they think that they can turn it into a sustainable, long business, that they will.
I'm sure. There were a few other new cars that launched, a handful of hypercars that I know you're going to be bored of, so I'm not going to touch. The M5 Touring finally got unveiled. Yeah. I don't love the looks of that. How did you see it?
I saw it, mate. I don't think it looks as good as the M3. It was all, it's all right.
I think the saloon is better looking as well. You prefer the Touring?
No, it's not. I just didn't. I don't really like the saloon either.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not really that bothered about the saloon, What I was not surprised, but the price isn't as much as I thought it was. 112,000 plus options. I mean, it's not too bad. 125 by the time you have
we thought it was going to be 150, didn't we?
Yeah, it's not. It's going to be 125 with options, which ain't too bad when you think we did think it was going to be 150.
And your car spec was 105?
No, 98 list.
Okay.
So 25 grand more.
Yeah, 25 grand more, M3, M5. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was
car, basically.
Well, we don't know if it's worse.
It will be worse, mate.
Dynamically, it's not going to be as agile.
No. So it's worse.
You heard it here first.
It's a 2.5 ton barge.
Well, it's going to be more than 2.5 tons as well, isn't it?
What?
Because the Touring is going to be heavier.
Oh my God, 2.6.
Yeah. I was at breakfast with someone who made the lamest joke ever and said, "Oh, did you feel the earthquake this morning?" Because there had been earthquakes in California. And I was like, "No way. Where? Like what time?" They're like, "Oh, what time did the M5 Touring launch?" And I was like, But yeah, when BMW dropped the M5, I was like, oh God. Dad jokes ahoy. But yeah, a handful of other cars people can point out if they think that we massively should have talked about things like the Nilu or Nilu. But
what's that?
I think we can all guess what Tony's reaction is from. I think the Bugatti or the Koenigsegg design. It's like another hypercar.
Oh, I'm not interested.
8.8 million, 400,000 horsepower. Yeah. Anyway. I want to talk about the Restomods because I was touched on the fact that there were tons of them. And there were a handful of very interesting ones. But bookmark my question, which we'll come back to at the end. Is it going too far now? Have Restomods, is it a bit too much?
I think they're too much anyway.
Okay. Well, anyway, first one to touch on, the Eccentrica Diablo. So, name is fairly obvious. It's a Diablo. £1 million. 19 to be made, carbon fibre body, upgraded brakes. Sounds great.
Lovely.
I love a Diablo. They've done the interior very well because it's kind of period correct but modern.
Yeah.
It looks a bit like if a Diablo had been put into Back to the Future or iRobot. It looks like a sort of a 90s futuristic version of a Diablo. It's okay.
Okay.
But I'm with you. I'm a bit like, how much better can they make a Diablo in the first place?
Well, quite a lot better, actually.
I'm sure, but can they actually? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, without ruining it. Yeah.
well, just like also like changing it fundamentally.
Yeah.
Because it's
So
part
it's
of the
not
charm.
a Diablo
That's
anymore.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's a certain part of the character of an old Lambo that you've got to kind of really pick it up by the scruff of its neck. And
it's almost why you buy it, because it's crap.
yeah, sounded amazing though. My phone's over there. I wanted to play a sound clip. Hold on.
Oh, no. A sound clip. You want to play the mic?
Yeah.
No, he's back. Get it on, mate. Find it. Come on.
Okay, because the soundtrack was, and this I have to say I am definitely a fan of. If Restomod companies are going to just make everything sound this good, so on a sec, I've got endless videos of other things. When did I go?
No, it's
Here we
car
go.
related.
Valves open. Valves closed.
Yeah. Wow. It's all right, isn't it?
That's pretty good. I like that.
Have they done anything to the engine or
I think just
exhaust?
like freshened it up.
Yeah.
I got to be honest.
Still going to break, innit?
Full disclosure to my car week. It was just so hectic, and that day there were 4 or 5 events, different vibes. This event, Eccentrica, was a party. Got their DJ going, Aperol Spritz is being handed out, and a lot of people I knew were there. I didn't pay a lot of attention to the car.
Really?
They were so nice. The guy who runs the press is actually a guy I met years ago in Maranello. Super nice guy.
Yeah.
We were just chatting about, and I was like, I should probably ask about the car. So apart from that clip, I forgot to ask that much else. That's the one that was a bad,
Okay.
Sorry everyone. Moving on though.
Fine.
Touring Superleggera, obviously a historic, very famous company along the lines of Zagato and things like that, have turned their eye to one of the most beautiful modern day Ferraris, the 550, to create this thing they're calling the something Veloce, the 12 Veloce or something. Anyway.
I don't think the 550 is that beautiful.
Oh, that's a big statement.
No,
Really?
I actually think that's quite nice. That there, what you've just showed me.
The Touring Superleggera's
Yeah.
version. I think the 550 is a pretty stunning car.
Do you?
Yeah. Looks alone, yeah.
Right.
I'm a fan.
Okay.
Especially of the Barchetta.
Yeah.
My all-time dream car. New all-time dream car.
That's not what we went to see in when we went to.
No, we saw a 575.
Right. Okay.
HGTC.
Yeah.
Oh, I still kind of want that car. Anyway, this thing is really cool
Yeah, it looks cool.
because it's very Touring Superleggera. Essentially, this is a resto mod done purely, I think, more aesthetics.
Okay.
So this is not a total reworking and improving of the car. They have improved it,
Yep.
but just in a way to kind of just make it more usable. So a lot of issues with the 550 are around cooling. So they've bumped power like a tiny bit. So I think it just crosses the 400 horsepower mark. Or sorry,
Yep.
hold on a sec. That sounds 500 horsepower. I was saying 400 horsepower sounds low. Yeah, so they bump power a little bit to just over 500 horsepower, but it's all about maintaining that horsepower by aiding with a load of cooling.
Fine.
So that's a big thing. They've reduced a little bit of the weight, but not very noticeably. They've obviously done the styling because that's their speciality.
Yeah.
New lights, new interior, which again was good, not spectacular, but it's just stunning, like absolutely stunning. And this thing sounds unbelievable.
Does it?
It basically sounds like a 599 GTO or an F12 TDF.
Nice.
And I haven't heard a 550 or 575 sound that good. I've had plenty with tube exhaust and various aftermarket exhausts. None of them have been able to sound as good as this. This thing sounds unreal.
It looks wicked, that car.
It looks amazing. It's got good brakes. It's got it should be a better package, but with a lot of the Touring Superleggera cars, it's about the style as much as the substance.
Okay, fine.
So very, very cool. And this one I liked because it starts from 600 grand. I know that's a silly thing to say.
600 grand?
I know that's a ridiculous thing to say, but also you have to, it doesn't include the donor car, but
What?
so you get it.
600 grand to build it?
Yeah. It's a lot, but in the world of £1 million resto mods, the fact that it started under $1 million,
Oh, good.
I don't know. I think this thing is stunning. I begged them to let me have a go when they get a working model. I begged them. I was like, this thing looks amazing, right up my street.
I begged them.
Yeah, I literally was sitting there.
He's on his hands and knees on the lawn.
It was like an event for potential customers. Somehow I wangled an invite. And I was like, please, I'll find you potential customers. I don't know where, but let me drive it. Right up my street. But arguably the star of the show when it comes to Restomods, you must have seen this.
I saw
the
it.
Tuthill GT1.
Yeah.
Now, this is fascinating. I kind of know the Tuthill team a little bit.
Okay.
I filmed a video with Richard quite a few years ago now when I was hunting for a classic. Various friends of mine have bought cars with him. A good friend of mine, she now works there. Like I know the setup. I know the team. So I caught wind of this or got the lowdown of this kind of early on in the week, and they pulled the covers off at the Quail. I think this thing is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about celebrating. It's like a bit of an homage to, of course, the GT1 race car from Le Mans.
Yeah.
It does start its life, unbelievably, as a 993.
Does it?
Yeah, that's the basis. Not much of it remains.
Doesn't look like much of it remains.
Variation of powertrains and setups. You can have naturally aspirated or turboed.
Lovely.
And I don't know if it's officially being called PDK, like whether it's it's dual clutch or manual.
Yeah.
So you can really choose what you want to do.
I'd have a turbo dual clutch in that car. That looks like that needs a turbo, that car.
Which I think is what Richard said as well.
Yeah.
He's like, look, drivers, manual. He said, this is not the car for that. This is a Grand Tourer car.
Yeah.
It's going to be a road car. It's not a track car. He said that's probably, I think, the specification he mentioned as well.
Yeah. Well, if he knows what I know, then that's what he would, and he probably built the damn thing. So
he did, yeah. Oh, he does. Yeah,
so that's it.
It's just really cool, and it was stunning. And I mean, I don't know for sure, but it felt like on the day they sold out quicker than they could even count deposits for. Like it was like wildfire.
Wow.
I mean, people
How
just
much is
went
it?
nuts for it. 1.5
million.
Yeah,
Pounds. Sterling.
But I think was there 22 of them being made, something like that.
Wow.
This follows up the 911K, which I was lucky enough to drive during car week, at the ACS, which they did with Singer. Like, this is proper stuff. Like, like the attention to detail, the level of engineering, the planning, having now spent some time around various Tuthill cars. Like, they are sensationally built things.
Yeah, and I do understand the price is eye-watering because they're only making a few, and there is a huge cost involved when you're not making
R&D costs.
Exactly. Yeah, and that all has to be factored in. So I do understand it. It's just that when you're in the modern world and you do what I do, that's the bit that makes me cry.
Well, but the thing is, also to put it in place, Carrera GT, 1 point something these days. 918, bargain of the bunch, but still. And original GT1, probably, again, what, two, maybe more? I don't know.
Yeah, they're that money now.
We can look at it quickly, but I think this does. I know it's a Restomod. I know it's not necessarily from Porsche now, even though it is at base a Porsche. But it probably.
But they do it properly, right?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And what I find amazing about Tuthill, I know they kind of popped up in the last few years. Obviously, they've been around forever as rally specialists. They've popped up into this world in the last few years. They seem to create these very bespoke products. Everyone I've spoken to has gone to them to create a car for them. It's not been like, so the 911K with Philip, it is Philip in a car. Okay. The fact that they've made more and people have gone and bought them sums up how stupid other people are. I think not stupid, but like mad other people are. Because it is just Philip's car. And another friend of mine had his car there and he was like, this is my dream car in reality. Yeah. I know somebody else who bought a car through them. And so I think with this, and the reason they've got these variety of setups is because, look, we are in a business of building you your car. Yeah. So this is the GT1, but look, some people are going to want naturally aspirated, some people are going to want turbo, some people are going to want manual, some people are going to want automatic. So I think that will continue. What were we looking at? GT1 prices.
1,200 kilos.
Yeah, I mean, and it will be serious.
And the turbocharged car going to be fast, right?
Oh, wow. 5 mil.
Oh. It's bargain then. I mean, it's a bargain, mate.
For an actual, the Strassen version, 5.6 mil at Amelia Island in 2017. So potentially even more.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you go. Very, very cool. But let's bring it back to my original question, because there are a handful of other Restomods. I checked out this Ferrari 355 from Evoluto, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a handful of others. Like, there's a lot going on. And it felt weird to be at such a major car event and just everything be Restomods, all the attention and focus to be on Restomods, which is obviously market specific, but it just made me feel a bit like, I was a bit like over it.
Mm.
You know, the Lambo was cool. Bugatti showed off the, oh my God, I'm having a mind blank, Tony, help
The
me.
Larry one.
The new Chiron.
What's it called?
Tourbillon.
That's very French.
Tourbillon. Or tourbillon.
Yeah.
So I had a real mind blank there. Anyway, so there was lots of cool stuff knocking around, but everyone seemed to be talking about Restomods.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm just a bit like,
You've had enough?
a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Firstly, let's not forget that cars were good for being good in their day.
Yep.
We don't have to improve everything. I think more and more our narrative from a couple of years ago, which was new cars are just a bit, is starting to spread wider and wider apart the car community.
Yeah.
So many conversations I had during Car Week were like, I'm just bored by new cars.
Yeah.
Like, what new cars excite you?
Yeah. No, it's true.
But where are you at with Restomods?
No,
Don't care?
don't care.
But
Literally
you say
don't
that,
care.
but you also don't like the old original.
That's a lie, mate. Because some old original stuff, especially of my era, I do like some of the old RS Cosworth stuff.
Which they're doing. Somebody's doing that, I think.
Yeah. But for me, I'd rather go and have the original one.
Interesting. So if somebody asked you a Cosworth and said, "Oh, but we could improve the brakes and the handling and make it lighter,"
No, I'll have the shitty one that I grew up wanting when I was a kid. It's like when I had that Escort Cosworth. I always wanted one when I was a kid. One of my neighbours round the corner, I used to wash it for him, and I thought one day I'm going to have one of these. And when I actually got it, I barely drove it because it was a pile of poo. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that was the car. It was a pile of poo, but that's why you bought it. But back then it wasn't a pile of poo. It's just things move on.
And I like being transported to the era that when that was good. Do you know? I like the sensation of like driving it, being like, wow, back in this era, this was unbelievable.
Yeah. It's like having one of them old 911s and making it like our car, making it like a GT3. Why?
We'll have one or the other.
Yeah, like just have the new GT3 that's got a proper chassis, and you know what I mean? Because no matter what they do, they still won't make it as good as a modern car. They just won't, mate.
And if you want the sensation and the character of an older car,
go and buy it.
Buy an older car.
Yes.
It's a bit like my struggle with the Stradale and everyone going, when are you doing a manual conversion? Are you going to manual convert it? Of course, like I see the appeal and I understand the enjoyment I'd get from a manual conversion, but that car left the factory with the F1 gearbox.
That's what it is.
Part of the character and personality, and that's the car that I always wanted.
Yeah.
So whilst I'm still not ruling it out and I go back and forth on it all the time, there's something about celebrating cars for what they were.
Or are.
Yeah. But I also don't knock improvements, modern technology, all of these things, these lessons that we've learned, improving brakes, improving all of this stuff to make the car a bit more reliable and a bit better to drive, sure. But I just wonder if we're just starting to go a little bit too far away, because don't forget, all of these Restomods require donor cars. That's really where my concern lies. I don't knock Restomods. Some of them are spectacular. I love lots of them. I think some of them are starting to be a bit cringy, a bit like, let's try and get in on this space type thing. But if we're going to start losing original cars left, right, and centre for Restomods, that could be sad, because imagine, 993 and 964 911s, a lot of those must now still have been turned into some kind of Restomod.
Yeah.
Backdate or whatever.
Yeah. But maybe they done that. There'd be two reasons probably why they picked on them cars, because no one wanted them and they were cheap. So they thought, well, we've got a profit opportunity here. We can buy this old car for next to nothing and turn it into a Restro and make some money, obviously. But the more Restros they do, the rarer them cars will become, and the values will go up on them. Then they'll find another model. But I just, and I don't like older cars in general, but I do respect them, you know, and I grew up around them as well. So if something's old and horrible, leave it old and horrible. Do you know what I mean?
Would you
it's
take
part of the car?
a dual clutch Enzo?
No. We spoke about this before.
It's a really hard one. You know, so I don't want to knock it entirely. I am amazed by the work that is getting done in this space, but it just feels like every single week now there's a new resto mod being launched or coming out. And also for me, and this was the big part of it for me with the, I'm going to get the name wrong, Evoluto. Let me get it.
You know, the other thing as well with like doing what you just said, dual clutching Enzos and making them more modern, as in essentially faster. Well, there's a bloody safety issue there as well, because don't forget, a modern car's got airbags and it's heavier, and you know, it's designed to, if you crash, you're probably going to be all right. If you start messing around with these, if you make, for your instant, your CS, try and make it a pista, and you're dead, mate.
Well, it all depends on the company doing it, right?
Yeah, no, but
because there are specialists everywhere.
Fair.
That Tuthill car and the 911K, absolutely unbelievable what they set out and created. But it's within it's got an element of originality. It feels like a 70s car turned up to 15. Do you know, it still behaves in that way. If firstly they try to dial that out and turn it into one of our cars, then you're right. What's the point? But if you had a company that's not as good as that, so, you know, let's twin turbo I don't know what.
Anything. Pick a car, mate.
But do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it depends on who's doing it. I don't agree with you entirely. I know what you're saying. Like, you got to...
Twin turbo and E46 M3.
Sure, there you go. But as long as you... If it's a real legit company that's got proper engineering and mechanical background, the whole point is they're building a car that works. They're not just going, cool, let's just put some big brakes on it and see what happens. Like, it's the whole package. That's the point of these Restomods. It's not just like some guy called Barry going, like, we're going to stick a big exhaust on it. But the thing with for me, less so than the engineering, for me, a lot of it's to do with the looks and the feel. So the Evolution thing, the thing which I struggle with that is they've slightly rebodied it and really redone the interior. So to me, it was no longer really a 355. It was something that resembled a 355. And me as a diehard Ferrari loser, I was like, oh, do you mess with Michelangelo? Like, do you, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just think some of these things, that GT1, which is still up on our screen, that Tuthill project, gives you GT1 vibes, but it's not trying to be something from the past. Like, you know, it's different enough that that's its own thing that gives you its own. But if you look at some of these cars, you're like, what, like, are you really better than Lamborghini was? Like, design-wise? Like, you've probably got 5 to 10 employees where they had 600.
Designing a windscreen wiper.
And these are some of the greatest designers of all time, Jario and all these Pininfarinas and all these people like that. And you're going to come along and go, actually, I think I can do better. I don't know. Maybe I'm being, I don't know.
I don't like that scene in general, mate. But like I've said to you before, like, you in my opinion, you can't beat a manufacturer because of the weight and the power they have behind them, and the, you know, especially nowadays, the safety aspect that you have to have when you build a car now. You know, like, just that alone. Can you imagine the amount of money they spend in crashing them and, you know, making sure they're safe?
Yeah, I guess though with the Resto mod, that's the risk you're taking. The same as buying a classic car. I mean, that's the whole point of a Resto mod. You're buying a classic car knowing that it doesn't have airbags and ABS and all these systems that sometimes modern cars do.
But that's what I'm saying. You're potentially making it better, an older car without all the safety aspects, therefore making it better, which means you're probably making it faster, which means if something happens, then you've got no aids, no driving aids that these modern cars have now. You're going to have an aeroplane crash. You know what I mean?
I think Eagle with the original E-types. Singer with the original car they did, which I think they call their classic. And Alphaholics were did it right at the start,
And
which was
that Volante thing. What was that? What was
Touring Superleggera Disco Volante.
the Disco Volante?
Yeah, that I disagree with.
Yeah.
So my point with those first three is that to a non-aficionado, and even to some aficionados, they were still E-types, Alphas, and 911s.
Yeah.
It was just the fettling that was going on just to enhance it. But they still
made them more reliable, didn't they?
They made it more reliable,
Yeah.
better to drive,
Yeah.
more enthusiastic, all these things. But it still remained true to what it actually was. Well, I feel like now, even with the Singer DLS and the Singer whatever, I mean, they've gone on to thousands of iterations.
Yeah.
The 911K, the best part about it for me was no one, it just looked like another old 911
Fair.
cruising around,
Yeah.
which is good and bad for some people. But
Yeah.
some of these things, I don't know, just started to rub me up a bit the wrong way. I was just getting a bit sick of it that week. But it was an amazing week, an amazing trip. That's still one of my favourite events of the year. I saw some wild things driving down the road. I mean, I actually think you would enjoy that week.
Yeah.
As much as you hate cars.
Been. Yeah.
Because it's a stunning part of the world.
Yeah.
Stuff everywhere. Yeah.
No, if I've not been somewhere, then I'd enjoy it. But it's like the hate cars bit now is because I've seen it all.
Yeah.
And it's the same stuff all the while. I'm just a bit like, I'm bored of it, basically.
Yeah, fair.
You know what I mean? And like, it's like I still like cars, but really I just like driving them fast now. I don't, when I walk down the road now, if I see a Lambo or I see anything, I don't get excited by anything anymore. You know what I mean? Nothing. If I see a Chiron go by, I'm literally not interested.
Overexposed.
Yeah. So, but I've not been to that Monterey, so I probably would like that, but that don't mean I'd want to go every year.
No. I mean, I do, but the good part about it is literally you turn the corner, you just don't know what you're going to see.
Yeah.
From an original Ferrari Testarossa through to, I drove a Zonda.
Oh, wow.
I drove a Zonda.
We sort of forgot about
We
that.
forgot about that a little bit.
Was that all right?
Yeah, I said it in the video.
Oh, no.
Tiny bit disappointing.
Oh.
I mean, there's
Why?
two things to take note of here. Firstly, I mean, I think this car was like 9 or 10 million.
Isn't it amazing, them cars now?
I mean, most of them are going for like 14 or 15.
I know.
This one's actually a bit of a bargain. So there's that. Secondly, I had about 20 minutes for the opportunity to drive the car and film a video, and you can imagine what I was like.
In 20 minutes.
That's disaster for me.
Terrible.
We were driving on a fairly busy, big road in America. And the car had been federalized, which basically means that it was silent. It was take all the exhaust systems and change them all, because they don't have the same emissions regulations there for those. If you're importing a car from that era, you have to change a lot of the...
Do you?
Yeah. So
You have to shut it up.
Basically.
Right.
Because you can't, emit in the same way that we could in that period. So
Right.
it just made it a lot quieter. Or what's called... stifled it a bit. Is that
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's a shame.
I think I was expecting, having experienced during Drive the World, I got up close to one of the special editions, the Futures. Anyway, that thing was the even though it was manual. And so many clips online of Zondas like
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping and expecting that, and I thought the driving experience was going to be a little bit edgy, a little bit knifey. Huayra was always described as the GT version.
Yeah.
But it's such a brick house, that Huayra.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, the Zonda's going to kind of be light on its toes, maybe a bit 599 GTO-like, a bit skittish at the rear.
Or F40, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Obviously naturally aspirated engine, but yeah, that kind of vibe. And it was just all very progressive, very analog. Obviously, let's not forget that car basically launched in the late 90s and was just evolved very limitedly. But it was very much an AMG powertrain.
Right.
Big,
Yeah.
And so whilst it was great and good and fast and it looks spectacular and you feel like you're in something special, it just didn't quite live up to my expectations of this real hair-raising car. If I had been on my favourite back road in that part of the world and I had the car for 3 hours and I'd really got familiar with it and cracked on, would it have come to life a bit more? Of course.
Yeah.
But we've spoken about this so many times before. We do this enough. We drive enough cars. You can figure out a car pretty quickly.
In 2 minutes.
In terms of its overall characteristics. Some things start to come true as you crack on. Look at you with the MC20.
Yeah.
You know, but in general, I kind of got, it was, would I still have one if I was a billionaire? Of course.
Right.
Would I drive it that much? Probably not.
No. But do they?
No.
Exactly.
I don't think people would do.
No.
So that was disappointing. Anything else that I have to report? No, I mean, there was just lots of sensational cars knocking around. Oh, 812 Competizione. Spoke to an owner of one of those.
Yeah.
Agreed with what you said. Really special car. So
Yeah.
now I want to have a go again after having missed up that opportunity. But yeah, all in all, absolutely sensational, mate. And so yeah, the Boxster stays now with Matt Farah, Westside Collector Car Storage.
You're going to clog his place up, are you?
I am, unfortunately. But he's been
Has he
very
put it by the
nice.
skip, has he?
I would.
Or he turned it into the skip.
I would understand if he did.
Yeah,
I said,
so would I.
you can hide this somewhere. Don't worry. Give it to one of your workers. Let them take it home. And I don't think I'll get back out there this year, but maybe. We'll see. There's lots going on this year, so you never know. But that wraps up our summer, I guess. Anything else that's caught your eye? Been watching F1 a bit?
Yeah. I don't know where we were with F1, but because they had a break as well.
They had a break too.
We're sort of
but
up to date, weren't we?
We're back.
Dutch Grand Prix was a bit of a bore.
Yeah. Now McLaren are the dominant car.
McLaren's 22. I mean, what has happened there? Massive swing like that.
I'm still calling it. I'm still calling my conspiracy theory that something came off that Red Bull that has slowed it down.
Yeah, fair. Because that's huge, isn't it?
It's insane.
Especially round there.
It's insane.
Only a minute lap.
But that was McLaren's first major upgrade as well, which is even more worrying.
Yeah, fair enough.
Got your eyes on the cars? How's your car? You GT3's at the Nürburgring, right?
Click 10,000 miles now.
Really? Caught up with me.
Are you 10,000 miles?
I've been over it for a while.
Have you?
Even though I haven't driven that car in ages. My car's
Yeah.
gathering dust, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to get out there another couple of times and then that'll be it for the year then because it shuts.
Well, we got the tour coming up.
We got
don't
the tour
We're
coming
gonna
up,
be going
yeah.
Via the old
I'm going to
ring.
get it out then for a couple of hours, go round.
That'll be cool.
I'm going to go round for it. Well, it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
stored there, isn't it?
Oh, what a nice little bonus
So
for
it's a
you.
nice little bonus. While everyone's going round, I'll jump in the car and go around for a couple of hours.
Flash them. Move.
You have to flash them, mate.
Yeah.
You because you have to flash, mate.
Can't you get like a siren?
No.
Or perma flasher? It's like the paparazzi chasing you down. Well, anyway, lots of other things to discuss. We probably need to touch on the fact that the Grand Tour is coming to an end, which we'll do next week.
Yeah.
Harry Metcalf put out a super interesting video, I don't know if you saw over the summer, talking about how he believes the government needs to start changing their narrative about EVs and fuels and future of mobility.
Right.
Probably need to touch on that. And I've got some interesting car reviews lined up, one of which I think I'm going to try and get you involved in.
Is it a fast car?
It's a very fast car and a car that you might quite like. So.
Oh, please, mate, because if it's a fast car that I like and it's a lot of money, that means I'm going to end up wanting to buy one.
You easily could, but it has one negative. It's got a manual gearbox.
And I don't want it.
Well, watch this space. Anyway, we are ecstatic to be back. We hope you are happy we are back. Make sure you're subscribed. New episodes every single Thursday. And you can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on most podcast players. You can check us out on Instagram and TikTok, behindtheglass__podcast. We'll be back with you next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.